time for Braves baseball, and it's also time for a series win. The Braves try to take 2 out of 3 from the Fightin' Phils here at Citizens Bank Ballpark. And Julio Teheran takes the ball for Atlanta in Game 3. Hi again, friends. Joe and Chip, welcome back to the ballpark. Braves were shut out last night. Hopefully, Julio Teheran will get some run support, for his season really turned around the last time he pitched against the Phillies in this ballpark in Philadelphia.
He's had good numbers against them dating back to last season, Chip. He's won his last 3 decisions against Philadelphia and 2-0 this year with an ERA around 1.29. He's been outstanding in this ballpark. He's only got 2 wins on the road this year, but one of those wins was right here at Citizens Bank Park. His last 6 starts, 4-1 overall with a 1.21 ERA. And I got to say, coming off that start in Washington, Chip, I thought it was one of his best of the year, even though he got a no decision in that 10-inning loss. He was aggressive, and he was really pounding the zone with that fastball.
Julio's work of late are Zaxby's indescribably good play, and hopefully the offense will have an indescribably good night against David Buchanan, who has been rocked in his last 2 Major League starts. The Braves go for a series win and a happy flight home. We wrap things up with the Phillies and get it started right after the break.
Day.
Welcome back to Philadelphia. We're just about set for Game 3 of the series. The Braves will try to win it outright here at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Nick Markakis and the Bravos ready to go after being shut out last night. The Academy Sports and Outdoors lineup has a notable addition. Christian Bethancourt is in the lineup, and he will be behind the plate, batting 7th, with Julio Teheran on the mound. The Braves will face David Buchanan, a young man that's had good minor league numbers but has found the going very difficult at times here in the major leagues.
He's out of Peachtree City, went to Georgia State, first player out of Georgia State University to make it to the big leagues. You can see, though, tough times, that's kind of an understatement, especially early. 400 average against him first time through the order, gets a little better but not much after that. And his last big league start was the reason he got sent back to Lehigh Valley. That was on August 11th at Arizona, an inning and 2/3, 11 hits and 11 runs that caused his ERA to skyrocket to an even 9. However, against the Braves this year, he's pitched well. 6 2/3 in one outing. That was a loss despite the fact he only gave up 2 hits. And then he beat the Braves on July 31st and pitched into the 8th inning. Only gave up 3 runs, won that game 9-3.
So Buchanan will need a little help from his defense tonight. Sweeney, Herrera, and Altair in the outfield left to right. Howard, Hernandez, Galvis back in at shortstop. Cody Ashe at third base. And Cameron Rupp is the Iron Man behind the plate. Nick Markakis will lead things off for Atlanta. He's batting .297, a couple of homers, 48 runs driven in. Nick picked up an 8th inning hit last night. And that one slashed into the seats foul and out of play. Strike 1 for Nick Markakis. Braves and Phillies neck and neck for 4th place in the National League East. Phillies have won 8 of the first 15 matchups. As that one is down the line and headed for the corner. That'll be an extra base hit for Nick. And he leads off with a stand-up double, his 34th 2-base hit of the year.
That's 3 of the last 4 games he's led off with a double and has scored each time. Couldn't keep the first one fair, but he certainly did on this occasion. Fastball, cutter, change up, and a curve for David Buchanan.
350th double for Nick Markakis, who earlier in the series played in his 1500th Major League game. He's had a couple of milestones in Philly. Now Hector Olivera bats. He too with a milestone. His first big league homer came here a couple of nights ago. And that missed upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. That's fouled at the plate. Remember, Olivera fouled a ball off his foot on the road trip and had to miss a game. Might have hit the same spot.
Our first look at Tom Woodring behind the plate tonight.
Rolled slowly down the third base line. That's foul. And it's now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Warm, humid night. Final taste of summer here in Philadelphia today. Game time temperature 89 degrees. It was in the low 90s in downtown Philadelphia today. There are some storms northwest of Philadelphia. Hopefully they'll stay away tonight. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Fastball at 91 from David, and that's about the top end for him. 89 to 91 is typically where he sits. That hurt. I missed all shin guard, got all leg, I think, on Rupp. Yep. Buchanan's numbers at AAA: 4-2 with a 2.80 ERA. He only gave up 3 runs in his last 3 starts. That's why they're giving him another look tonight. Olivera last night 1 for 3 with a walk, but he saw a ton of off-speed pitches.
Everything up and in this at bat from Buchanan. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a swinging bunt. Runner to third. Buchanan with throw to first, and Olivera beat it. Buchanan didn't put much mustard on that throw to first, and Olivera legs out a hit.
bonus was he was going to get that runner to third despite just the swinging bunt, but Buchanan took forever to get rid of it, and then didn't, like you said, didn't really throw it very hard to first.
So first and third for Atlanta, nobody out, and Freddie Freeman's going to stand in. Big number early would be welcomed by Julio Teheran. The pitch straightened him up and missed inside. Ball one. So Oliveira has his fourth hit of the series. He's at first. Kakis began the game with a double. He's at third. And that's pulled foul. Terry Pendleton will make a friend. And it's an even count. When Freddie's been able to play, he's been very productive. When the season's over, he will have missed roughly a quarter of the championship year with a couple of injuries.
A lot of off speed. That's why the Braves are way out over the top of it and pounding it foul into the ground at home plate. Braves were 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position last night. That's why they got shut out. Chance to get one here in the first.
And Freeman just got hit by a pitch. Not the start Buchanan envisioned, but more of the same since he's come back to the big leagues. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Trying to keep the ball in on Freddie. Looked like a cutter. Got him. And it was. With A.J. Brzezinski out of the lineup tonight, that moves Nick Swisher into the cleanup spot. And he's been swinging it pretty well, too.
Nick's 2 for 8 in the series. Had an RBI hit in the first inning in Washington. And had a second inning single here last night. Big chance for Swisher. And that's outside. Ball one.
Wind blowing out toward right. Get one up in the air, see what happens. No, it shifted and going straight out, so hit it anywhere. Doesn't matter.
Hit it high, watch it fly. And Swisher's checking those flags. He's ahead in the count, 2-0. Up the middle, right to the second baseman. Calvis the turn and a double play. A run scores. That's tough break for Swisher. He absolutely roasted that baseball. He's doubled up, and a run is in with 2 outs in the Atlanta first.
I think it would have gotten up the middle, Chip, but it hit the slope of the mound and kicked it right over to Hernandez. Right off the side slope of the mound, and that gave the Phillies an easy opportunity for the double play. Get a run, Braves get a run, but could have been 2.
Jace Peterson bats with a runner at third base and 2 outs. We showed you in Braves Live group of 4 Braves hitters that have had good luck against the Phillies. Jace Peterson is one of them. See if he can provide a 2-out hit. And that's in the seats foul. It's 1-2. And here's Jace. Last 13 against the Phillies. Our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
6 RBIs. Be nice to put a 7 up there after this at bat.
to second. And an inning that began with so much promise turns into one Atlanta run. Buchanan pitched out of trouble. Heck of a job by him. 1-0 Braves. Julio Teheran goes to work. Got Freddie Galvis back in the lineup, hitting 8th in their Academy Sports lineup. Several of their players have had good luck hitting against the Braves, something Julio Teheran hopes does not repeat itself in Game 3 tonight.
Julio's going for win number 10 tonight, and his career against the Phillies, good marks. 2.56 career ERA, but this year it's even better. 2-0 with a 1.29 ERA. One of those wins came here in this ballpark. His 4 keys to pitching success, well, like I said, I love the way he pounded that 4-seamer against the Nationals. Hopefully more of the same tonight. Stay aggressive and get after these left-handed hitters in the lineup tonight too. Lefties are hitting him at a 307 clip, but since he moved over to the first base side of the rubber, firing that slider down and in has been much more effective to lefties.
And he could use a shutdown inning after the Braves gave him a first-inning run. He's got Cesar Hernandez leading off. And the first pitch popped up. Andrelton Simmons drifts out. Nick Swisher calls him off, and Nick makes the play. 1 pitch and 1 man out. Swisher in left, Thorne in center. Still no Cameron Maybin battling that eye issue. Nick Markakis is in right. And Christian Bethancourt gets a start tonight behind the plate for the Braves. Christian will have a good night at the plate and with the glove as Odubel Herrera stands in with 1 out. Herrera put the game away in the 8th inning last night with a long 3-run home run. Part of his 2-hit night. He's hit 8 homers and has knocked in 40 men now. That good night has taken over the rookie batting average lead in the National League by a point over Matt Duffy of the Giants.
And 3 homers and 6 RBIs this year against the Braves.
That just missed outside. 3 balls and a strike.
And that start against Washington, Teheran, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. Did walk 4. Struck out 4. The only run was a first-inning homer to Bryce Harper.
Another pop to the left side. Simmons points the way for Swisher. And he's got that one 2 out. First inning at times has been a problem for Julio Teheran. He's given up 19 runs and 17 walks in the first inning this year. Encouraging to see him get 2 soft flyouts for the first 2 outs of the inning. Aaron Altair is the right fielder for the Phillies and riding a 3-game hitting streak.
These pop-ups tell me his fastball is pretty good again tonight. He was hitting 94, 95 a couple of times in Washington the other day.
He was as animated as we've seen, too. A couple of big double plays, big strikeouts. And a ground ball, Simmons at short. Step or 2 to his right, and Julio Teheran has a 10-pitch, 1-2-3 inning, a shutdown frame. And his bats go back to work with an early lead. Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag SouthDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by T-Mobile. Julio Teheran got him 1-2-3 in the first. Needed only 10 pitches. Braves got a first inning run. Markakis scored that. Now Andrelton Simmons leads things off. Lashes the first pitch back our way, and that's into the seats foul, strike 1.
Andrelton hit a home run off Buchanan earlier this year in this ballpark.
There's a fly ball into shallow center, and Herrera makes the play. That ball sounded funny off the bat. Thought for a moment I heard a tick of the catcher's glove.
Yeah, I thought so too. Same thing. Maybe the bat was already broken.
No argument from Simmons as he's retired. And now Bethancourt bats. Christian hasn't had much consistent playing time. And he's going to bounce a base hit through the left side to snap an 0 for 14.
Good start for his night. Like a fastball that he was trying to sink down and in. Didn't get it far enough in there.
Michael Bourne would like some hitting luck. Hasn't had much of it since putting on a Braves uniform. He's hitting a .138. And this one in the air to right. Altair to his right. Makes the play. 2 out. Julio's coming up.
Three for 43, 2 RBIs.
That's downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ryan Weber made his big league debut last night and impressed everybody. 2 runs in 6 innings. And Freddie Gonzalez said he will make another start. Said that before the game yesterday. This one's rolled toward Ashe at third. He will play it. He'll throw low to first. Howard came off the bag, and Teheran legs out an infield hit of his own. So Julio has his 4th hit.
He's walking slowly back to first base. I don't know if it's just to catch his breath. I hope that's it. He's having fun with somebody in the dugout. So he appears to be all right.
And Marquez back to work. He doubled down the left field line to start the game. Sure was fun watching Ryan Weber pitch. Many of the Braves youngsters have had terrific debut games. Weber got the ball on the ground, 13 outs by ground balls, got a couple of double plays, only walked 1 man. And the scouting report that described him as a modern day version of Chris Medlin was pretty accurate.
I think so too.
So he'll pitch against the Mets in game 4 of that series. 2 balls, no strikes. And Nick fouls it away. 2-1 now.
I know he wasn't pleased with being on the short end of that decision, but I think Ryan was probably happy with the way he threw the ball. And I was asking A.J. Brzezinski about it today, and he said his stuff was moving like Williams Perez, but his breaking ball was better. He was able to throw his breaking ball for a strike, and that made a huge difference.
Yeah, there weren't many times where he wasn't hitting the glove of A.J. You can see a whole lot of reaching or stabbing game last night.
I asked A.J. about that conversation they were having in the dugout that we talked about.
Yeah.
And A.J. said he was just suggesting that, you know, the second or third time through the order, maybe a 4-seamer upstairs to try to get it by guys if they're looking for the ball to come back over the plate. And he used himself as an example. As a left-handed hitter, I'd be looking for that backup fastball and not a 4-seamer.
Marquez on the ground to second, and the Penguin first in time will retire the side. The Braves get 2 hits, strand both runners, and Ryan Howard will lead off for the Phillies in the second.
second. Julio Teheran on the mound. Had a great conversation with Roger McDowell, who was so impressed with the way Ryan Weber threw the ball last night. And he said this, you know, he's not 6'4". He's kind of unassuming. He said, my days with the Dodgers, Orel Hershiser was that way. We would tease him about how he looked. For 4 days, on that 5th day, there was nobody else you wanted on that mound more because he was such a great competitor. He said in the days today where you see a lot of beards and you see a lot of tough tattoos, guys trying to look maybe too strong, get out there, but they don't pitch that way. He said Ryan Weber, unassuming, just went right at everybody, and he was hoping that Matt Whistler, some of the other guys, he walked over and said to take note of the approach and the way he went about his business. Great stuff, guys.
Absolutely, Paul. Love it. Roger was just glowing about Ryan Weber last night and the way he pitched. And you'd have to really search hard to try to find anything wrong with what he did last night. I thought he was terrific.
Other than he makes us feel really old because he looks so young. I mean, Weber wasn't pitching in the major leagues. He looks like the paper boy. An outstanding debut, and we'll look for him to pitch Sunday against Jonathan Neese against the first place Mets. Here's Ryan Howard. Howard, Sweeney, and Ashe coming up against Julio Teheran, who's been staked to an early lead. Knock on wood, Ryan Howard's had a quiet series against the Braves. 0 for 4 last night, 0 for 4 on Monday. And a sharply hit ball into the shift, and an easy throw at first retires Ryan Howard. Hard hit, 1 down. And here's Darnell Sweeney, the young left fielder acquired from the Dodgers for Chase Utley. Was a second baseman of the Dodger chain. But the Phillies feel like they have second and short pretty much covered between Freddie Galvis, Cesar Hernandez, and Andres Blanco. So they're trying him out in the outfield.
Yeah, I don't know about his numbers this year, but Sweeney made a ton of errors at second in 2013 and 14, in the 30s in each season. But offensively, he did a lot of great things. High average, some homers, double digits in homers, and a lot of stolen bases.
So the acquisition of Howie Kendrick and then, of course, Chase Utley and all the outfielders that the Dodgers already had, a new organization was probably the best thing for Darnell Sweeney. He's got a great opportunity with the Phillies. This ball's hit hard toward right. Markakis on the run. It's over his head and off the base of the wall. Sweeney around second. He's on his way to third. A long throw there is going to be late. Nick was looking. Nick was running. And the ball got over his head, and it's a triple for Sweeney.
Yeah, I thought he had it measured. I thought he had it measured just right. Pitched down and away, and he went out around it and got it right here. He checked the wall and then pulled up. I don't know if he overran it once he checked the wall. Those pop-ups to Swisher in the first inning, he had to make several steps to his left to catch those easy pop-ups. And I'm wondering if that wind maybe pushed the ball back behind Nick a little bit. Looked like it should have been caught.
So the infield comes in for Cody Ashe, who's knocked in 24 runs, and a comebacker off the pitcher's glove. Runner coming home. Julio can't uncork it. The throw to first just in time.
That looked like it messed up a finger.
So Ashe brings home Sweeney on a comebacker to the mound. Julio says he's all right, but that ball was wickedly struck. Wonder if the ball ended up getting him in the forehead.
I thought it got him in the finger and not the glove. Good hustle by Sweeney to go on contact.
I saw Bethancourt gesture and pointed to his forehead. Maybe the recoil of the glove hit him in the head. But Julio knocked it down and was able to retire Ashe to clear the bases. But the game's now tied at a run apiece. Big Cameron Rupp, the Philly catcher. And that's low and outside. '66th game for Rupp this year. Carlos Ruiz has caught in 78 games.
Sitting around 90 miles an hour, and then he gives up the triple and the run and is up to 93.
In the air to center, right at Michael Bourne, and that will retire the side. A triple and a comebacker ties the game for the Phillies. We go to the third, 1-1 game. Olivero will lead things off for the Braves. He hit his first career homer on Monday. Tonight's AT&T U-verse trivia question is, who is the last Braves rookie to homer at Citizens Bank Park?
Well, you know about Freddie.
Right.
That's a good question. Good question.
So we'll think about that as David Buchanan goes to work. Olivera, an infield hit his first time up. And that one's banged through the box and up the middle. He's 2 for 2. So Olivera has 6 hits in his last 14 at bats.
So let's have a big inning. You know, it's not enough just to get guys on. This on base percentage thing is really just wonderful. But it doesn't mean a thing if you don't get some hits and drive in runs.
And the Braves entering tonight's play were 4 for 20 with runners in scoring position in the series. Joe mentioned 0 for 10 last night. And they're hitless in that stat so far this evening, as that one's out of play by Freeman. Strike one to the Braves first baseman. I'm glad to see Freddie back in the lineup after those 2 awkward swings he took in the game last night. I think you said at the time looked like they hurt.
Yeah.
And that one is shot over the third baseman's glove and into left. And back-to-back hits for Atlanta. 2 on, nobody out. David Buchanan's already given up 6 hits and does not have an out in the third inning.
Here's what was really odd to me when I was looking at Buchanan's year. He had that game against the Braves where he beat them on July 31st. And in his previous 5 or 6 starts hadn't given up more than 3 runs in a start. Then he gave up 7 runs to the Dodgers in 4 innings and 11 runs to the Arizona Diamondbacks in an inning and 2/3. Those were his back-to-back starts after he beat the Braves. Hard to figure.
One thing I've noticed, he's having trouble getting the ball down. That pitch was right in the middle of the plate. It was off speed, and Swisher took it. 2 on, nobody out. Swisher hit into a double play. Bad luck for him. It hit the slope of the mound. And now 0-2. Are you pleasantly surprised with Nick Swisher's work defensively for Atlanta? Swung the bat pretty well, too.
Yeah, I don't think he's been tested that much in the outfield, but he's made the plays he needed to make.
No balls, 2 strikes. And a comebacker. Buchanan loads up. Second one, first 2. Swisher's hit to another double play. And Oliveira's at third with 2 outs.
Last night, they got him with some breaking balls, a swing and a miss in the 6th inning, and they're just going to stay with breaking balls right now. That wasn't a strike, but it was 0-2, and he wasn't going to take the chance of getting rung up. And instead, it turns into 2 outs.
He had to wait for Doug Eddings to get out of the way, too. Second base umpire was working on a moving pick. That's why there was the momentary hesitation. But no harm, no foul as Jace Peterson hits. Three balls, no strikes. He was taking all the way. All bets are off now. They're at the corners with 2 out. That's the first walk by Buchanan. And Andrelton Simmons will hit with 2 out.
Andrelton was aggressive his first time up, going after the first pitch he saw from Buchanan. Let's see if that holds true here. He was 1 for 12 against him coming in with the homer.
Ground ball on the first pitch. And the throw to first is in time. A great chance for Atlanta wasted. 2 on, nobody out. A double play, a walk, and a ground out sends us to the home third, still tied. Today only, thanks to the Braves Steal of the Week. Get a field view seat and a 1974 replica Hank Aaron jersey for just $30 when the Phillies are in town September 18th through the 20th. That's a savings of almost 50% off the regular ticket price. Go to Braves.com/steal for this great offer, but remember, you must buy today.
Well, they do it up here too, Chip.
What's that?
They put hats on their dogs.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And even a plastic one at that. Poor little dachshund. Man, what's with people?
Freddie Galvis takes a strike. It's 0-1. And that one is whacked into center field. A leadoff hit for a fast runner, Freddie Galvis, who continues to terrorize the Braves pitching staff. That's the 23rd hit against Atlanta this year.
Change up. Stayed back on it nicely. Buchanan, 14 at bats, only one sacrifice.
It's bunted foul. It's a strike for David. That foul as well. 0-2.
I would guess he's bunting again.
And you're right. Bethancourt's going to go to second. There's one, and late to first. Bethancourt came out of the chute in impressive fashion and fired a bullet to get Galvis at second. That's the lead runner, one down.
Two things impressive about this. One, Christian's quickness to get on this and the throw, but the other is Buchanan beating that relay. Well, he got down the line in a hurry to avoid a double play.
So now on a muggy night, the pitcher gets to run the bases. And Cesar Hernandez will hit for a second time. He popped out to left to start the game for the Phillies. That's foul at first. And the count now, 2 balls and a strike.
This guy continues to impress me offensively. He's got some quick hands, can turn on the ball. He's squaring up some balls in this series. Of course, he came into this game hitting .400 against Atlanta. Why wouldn't you be impressed?
To corner. Good try. 3-1 the count. As we mentioned last night, the Phillies for a long time were one of the oldest teams in the National League. They have quickly become one of the youngest, even with Ryan Howard playing for them every day. And that doesn't count Michael Franco, their third baseman, who's only 23 years old, I believe, and trying to come back from a bad wrist problem. Franco, by the way, reported no discomfort as he hit the ball off the tee. He's hopeful of coming back and playing before the season's over for the Phillies. That's a big reason why they've had a nice second half after a disastrous first half here in Philadelphia.
We might see him in Atlanta at the end of that homestand coming up.
There's Franco. $13 homers in 77 games and a .277 average. Full count pitch and line to center, and Michael Bourne backpedals for the second out.
Squared up another one.
And here's a double. Herrera. He too has popped out. This guy's been a nice find for the Phillies. A Rule 5 pick. Second baseman in the Rangers organization. Philadelphia took a flyer on him. They've stuck him in the outfield, and he's responded with a .301 average.
They've done pretty well this year with the Rangers organization,
I'd say. Big trade with Texas for Cole Hamels. As that's in for a strike. Hamels pitched yesterday, I believe, and was victorious.
Yeah, gave up some runs in Seattle, but I think they won the game like 8-6.
Rangers are only a game out in the American League West, and they host Houston for 4 games starting tomorrow. In fact, 9 of the final 17, I think, or 7 of the final 17 are head-to-head, Texas and Houston.
Well, that's what they were hoping for when they moved the Astros to the American League and put them in that division, was that there would be hotly contested competition between those two Texas teams.
One ball, one strike for Herrera, and had him off stride. Good pitch.
Really good. Hard to continue to have good timing with all that he's got going on with his swing. Leg kick, body turn. Started early and too early. He had a home run last night on a breaking ball that was out over the plate that he could go down and golf out. Saw that target from Bethencourt there. He wanted to go upstairs to see if he would chase up, but it didn't get up high enough to get him to swing and miss.
Those are the top rookie hitters in the National League. Herrera and Matt Duffy now tied for the top spot. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Julio got him up and away, and that'll retire the side. We head to the 4th inning. Christian Bethencourt leads off for the Braves. Washington. A long homer.
35.
Travis d'Arnaud's answered with a homer of his own for the Mets, who, Joe, have opened a 6-game lead in the Eastern Division. What a disastrous game for Washington last night. Had a 6-run lead and their bullpen imploded again. So it's a 6-game advantage for the Mets with 24 to play.
Well, the wild card and the Central Division are the ones that are really worth watching right now, because Pittsburgh, Chicago, and St. Louis are fighting for the 3 spots that are, in my opinion, left. It's just a matter of what place they're going to fall.
Bethancourt strokes one to deep right. That ball's got a chance, and that ball is gone on the first pitch. Christian Bethancourt with a solo home run, his 2nd for the Braves, and Atlanta's back in front.
Boy, that one jumped out of here, and an opposite field home run, just as his walk-off homer was earlier this year, right down the right field line.
That was June 6th against Vance Worley of the Pirates.
Like a cutter that he just left upstairs. Christian obliged.
So after an 0 for 14 run, Bethancourt's 2 for 2 tonight. And you're right, I think wild card race will be fun to watch. Both the Cubs and Pirates desperately want to host that wild card game, and already Clint Hurdle and Joe Madden have lined up their rotation so that if it does come down to those 2 teams, it'll be Arrieta and Garrett Cole in a 1-game shootout.
Wouldn't that be something?
No balls and a strike for Michael Bourne, who fouls that one away. Pirates won last night 7-3, guaranteeing them another winning season. One of the stories I read put it very well. Remember, just a few short years ago, everyone was counting the number of years the Pirates had losing years consecutively. Not a problem anymore. They're on their way to the playoffs for a 3rd straight year.
And their fans are back. Got a little money to spend at the trading deadline, get some players if they need them.
Fouled away by Michael, who's still alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pittsburgh's in Cincinnati tonight. It's a 1-1 game. Pirates have had trouble with the Reds this year. They're 5-10 against them. That's the shame of it, too. The 3 best teams in our league are all in the Central. After the first round of the playoffs is over, only one of those teams is going to be left standing. So you got the Cubs and Pirates. They'll play the 1-game playoff as it stands now. The winner of that series would face the Cardinals in the first divisional matchup. The Dodgers and the Mets right now for the other first-round matchup. 2-2 pitch. And off the plate, full count. A lot of hits for Buchanan so far, 7 in total.
Good at bat here by Michael.
And a base hit. It's a well-earned hit for Michael Bourne.
On the 10th pitch. Got a run in. Now let's have a big inning.
There you go.
Like something middle away. Target was down and away. Took it that way. Michael's had to scratch for every hit, because he's had a lot of atom balls.
8 hits for the Braves already tonight. And Julio lays down the bunt, and it's a beauty. And the throw to first in time. Bourne to second. 1 out for the top of the order, and Nick Markakis.
That's the 11th sacrifice for Julio on the year. That leads the team.
So 1 in, 1 on, 1 out, and Markakis is ready to go. First final is in the National League today. The Cardinals came back and beat the Cubs, who led 3-1 in that game late. Heartbreaking loss for the Cubs, who are making their way to Philadelphia tonight. They'll start a 4-game series here tomorrow night. Ball 1. Nick has 45 multi-hit games this year. Got a great chance for number 46 this evening. 159 hits in total this year.
Braves already with multiple hit innings in each of the first 4. But only 2 runs to show for it.
Popped the glove but missed. Ball 2. Pardon, 3 balls, no strikes from Buchanan now. See if Nick has a green light. Not close enough to offer. Another walk. Second of the game for Buchanan. 2 on, 1 out.
He's gotten Oliveira to hit the ball on the ground, but each time it's gone through a hole. So he'd like to do that again and hope to get his 3rd double play turned behind him in 4 innings.
Strike 1. Oliveira 5 hits in the series. That one's into shallow right center. That's going to drop for a base hit. Streaking around third is Bourne, and he'll slam on the brakes. Oliveira has a 3-hit game, and the Braves have loaded the bases in the 4th inning.
They've had some decent luck throwing him off speed stuff, so now they're going to try and trick him with a fastball in, but he's strong enough to fight it off. Michael Bourne had to make sure that ball was going to drop before he could break. That's why he only made it to 3rd base. But you throw Oliveira a fastball, you're taking a big risk. You don't put it in the right place.
Top 3 hitters on the lineup card for the Braves have reached base 7 times in 8 plate appearances so far. Freddie's been hit by a pitch and singled, and he's got him full. He almost got hit again. Nine hits and 10 outs for Buchanan so far. That's a strike.
That was a good pitch. That had some late movement on it.
Line drive toward right. That's going to get down for a base hit. A couple of runs will score on Freddie Freeman's first hit of the year with the bases loaded. So he's 2 for 2. Bourne and Markakis score, and the Braves take a 4-1 lead.
That one was not a whole lot unlike the pitch they tried to make to Oliveira. In on Freddie. Freddie's been diving in and jamming himself, but he was able to get around on that one enough to drop it into shallow right. Did not hit it hard, but he picks up 2 RBIs. He's got 54.
And a 3-run Atlanta inning. And that'll bring out Bob McClure. That'll get the Phillies bullpen working all of a sudden. 4 runs on 10 hits. And 66 pitches for David Buchanan so far.
One of the big stories last night in games out west was our pal Tim Hudson. How about this? Out in Arizona, he went deep. Back in the rotation, he hit a home run. He got the win. He beat the Diamondbacks 6-2. He's back to within a game of 500 in his win-loss record. So way to go, Huddy. Congratulations.
Last pitcher 40 years of age to hit a homer and win a game was Nolan Ryan.
No kidding.
Who did it to the Braves, believe it or not, in 1987. And the Giants making the case for the elimination of the DH all by themselves. Hudson's homer, the 7th hit by their staff this year. As they won 6-2 last night. You're right. Way to go, Tim Hudson. Nick Swisher, the batter, 1st and 3rd. He takes low, ball 1.
Nick's already hit into 2 double plays tonight. He doesn't want a 3rd. He's got a chance to add to the inning.
Well, you hope the hex of Joe Torre didn't linger in the Braves locker room. He was here today talking with the Braves staff about instant replay and the umpires and stuff. Joe Torre famously had a 4 grounded into double play game in his career. Two balls and a strike.
Good numbers in this situation, but not tonight. So now Buchanan, he's got a base, but he's on the fringe of getting taken out of this game. He wants to make a good pitch at the risk of it getting hit.
And Swisher walks. 2nd walk of the inning, 3rd walk in the game. And that's going to be the end of the line. David Buchanan's ERA rises to 9.11, and Pete Mackanin will call for some help from his bullpen. Bases are loaded again for Atlanta. Big inning working. 4-1 Braves in the 4th inning.
And your local Ford dealer.
Well, let's keep the runs and hits coming for the Braves. They enjoy a 4-1 lead and have them loaded with only one out here in the top of the fourth. Braves country, have you got your Tour Championship tickets yet? If not, now's your chance. Get Braves Field Reserve ticket for any remaining game this year and a Saturday Tour Championship grounds pass for only $89. That's a savings of up to 34%. Go to braves.com/PGA for more information. It's Jerome Williams, who's been in the starting rotation for the Phillies, but with all the acquisitions that they made with the Texas Rangers, he's been bumped to the bullpen now.
4-10, a 5.99 ERA, 25 games, 21 starts, and that 3.28 average against him. Part of the reason why he got bumped. So the guy you like up there with the bases loaded greets him first.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman got his first hit with the bases full in this inning. Jace Peterson has thrived in this spot. He's 9 for 15 with 22 RBIs. Peterson, the 8th man to hit in the frame. Ground ball to second. There's one, and there's two. Jerome Williams got the ground ball out, but the inning began with a bang. Christian Bethancourt, getting a start tonight, is making the most of it at the plate. A solo home run got a 3-run inning started for the Braves, and now Julio Teheran enjoys a 4-1 advantage.
Sports and outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Braves have 4 runs on 10 hits so far. They have chased David Buchanan. Fine looking canine.
Yeah, happy one too.
And Julio Teheran has a nice lead.
Braves with pitchers age 24 or younger, 127 starts. There's nobody else even close, but what gives you pause is that the team that's second is the team with the best record in baseball, and that's the St. Louis Cardinals. What's curious about this to me is age 24 or younger. Ryan Weber pitched last night. He's 25.
The old man. And the Braves staff, as Aaron Altair leads off for the Phillies. He's 0 for 1. Four runs, 10 hits for Buchanan over 3 1/3 innings of work.
And it's remarkable that it's only a 4-1 lead.
Braves are 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position, but have hit into 3 double plays tonight. And now Teheran faces the 3-4-5 men. That one way too high. 3 balls and a strike. He's headed for the third deck. To second. Jace Peterson to his left. Got his man easily. There's the first out. Nice rally by Tehran, who fell behind 3-1 in the count.
Yeah, he'd like a quick inning again.
Here's Ryan Howard. Ball, no strikes. Bears are catching Ryan Howard at a great time. I told you so many times how much damage Ryan Howard has done to Atlanta pitching. Right now he's in the midst of an 0 for 26 slide. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And 4 for 22 in his career against Julio, but 2 of the hits homers.
To first, Freeman's got it. He'll take it to the bag himself. And Howard 0 for 27 now. He's out number 2. Darnell Sweeney tripled off the base of the fence in right his first time up. That's the man that scored the only Philadelphia run. He came home on Ashe's comeback to the mound. Tehran is allowed a run on 2 hits. And out of play, a strike. This will be a very big offseason for the Phillies. Andy McPhail is in the ballpark tonight. Was here last night as well. He'll be traveling with Philadelphia on their upcoming road trip. He will take over as the team's baseball president, CEO, when Pat Gillick moves aside at the end of the year. Andy right now in an advisory role. But he's been charged with doing here what he did in Minnesota, in Chicago, and with the Baltimore Orioles, and that's rebuild the farm system and bring the Phillies back to where they were not so long ago, and that was at the top of the Eastern Division.
He's a good baseball man. Knows his stuff. He'll be really good for the Phillies.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Tehran just threw it right on by Sweeney. Perfect inning for Julio. A shutdown frame. Braves bats go back to work. Julio Teheran looks terrific tonight. Jerome Williams out for his first full inning of relief. And a bunt try by Simmons, and it's a beauty. Ashe will let it roll, and it's going to stick in the grass, and Simmons will hang on at first base. Bunt single for the Braves shortstop.
Somewhat unconventional with this high hop, but it worked right off the plate. And when it hit, it didn't have a whole lot of spin. Good start to another Braves inning, hoping to add on.
Good night tonight for Christian Bethancourt, who has singled and homered. He also made an excellent throw to second base on a sacrifice play. And he and Julio appear to be working well in sync together tonight. That's bounced into the dugout. And 0-2.
This might be kind of a breakout game for Christian. The Braves have been anxious for him to live up to some of his promise, and it's been slow to come. What a good night he's having tonight.
He's retired for the first time, and there's out number one. And Michael Bourne will bat. Michael finally has a hit and a run tonight. And Simmons just back at first. Nothing in one for Michael Bourne.
See if Michael can pull one over there in that hole on the right side. Williams too, the cutter off of his fastball. Fastball sits 88-91 also.
He did pull the ball through the hole, Joe, and Simmons will play it station to station. He'll stop at second base. Michael Bourne has a good night brewing. He's got 2 hits in 3 tries.
Boy, he got a good pitch to turn on too. Looked like a changeup that just stayed out over the plate, kind of tumbled. Braves with 12 hits already.
To go along with 3 walks and a hit batsman. And a chance for another big frame. Let's see what Teheran can do. He has a hit and a sacrifice tonight. Julio lays down the bunt. Williams with a bare hand makes the throw to first. Sacrifice for Julio. Second and third, now 2 outs.
Well, they're not going to get out of this inning with a double play. I know that.
Right. Nick 1 for 2.
Put him on. Next to the guy, it's 3 for 3 tonight.
That man is Hector Olivera. A lot of fans might notice the baseball glove that Jerome Williams wears. He wears that in memory of his mom, Deborah, who battled breast cancer. And he's the only major league player to wear a pink baseball glove.
It's a nice honor. Is this the third time the Braves have had the bases loaded?
Let's see. Yep. 3 times. And the first pitch is skied into shallow center. And a grab made by Odubel Herrera. And that will retire the side. Braves have had base runners all over the place. They have 12 hits. And they've settled for a 3-run lead.
Season, not what everybody's loved, but when you ever ask someone what their first big league outing or at bat was like, you always get a smile. That was the case today when I was able to catch up with some of the guys. Anderson Simmons said the first ground ball that came at him was like 100 miles an hour. His heart rate through the roof. Jace Peterson, first pitch, base hit out of the gate. Nick Markakis got up there and walked 3 times. Then he hit a home run. And when I asked A.J. Pierzynski, he said, hey, I just didn't want to strike out. Hitting a ground ball his first at-bat for an out, but later that same game would get a hit. And I got to know, Joe Simpson, what was it like for you and Chip Caray? Where was your first broadcast, and how did that go?
I didn't want to strike out either, Paul. But I did against Ed Ho-Ho Halicki at Candlestick Park. But I did get a hit my next time up.
This is Cody Ashe leading off for the Phillies in inning number 5. My first game was on Old Sport South. Ervin Johnson was working the game. Vin Scully and the Dodgers were in town. Got done with the lineups. Sent it to break like we do now here on Fox, as this one's popped up toward Olivera at third. He's got it, makes the play. Well, unbeknownst to me, finish getting through the lineups the first time, you're scared to death. And take a deep breath, put the headphones back on. Vin Scully walks down to the other booth and knocks on the glass with his Hall of Fame ring and looked at me and said, welcome to the club.
Nice.
Which was, you know, really, really great.
Very nice.
Yeah, Vin Scully had one of the great moments in baseball history today. 1965, Sandy Koufax's perfect game at Dodger Stadium. Beat the Cubs 1-0. Bob Hundley was the man who pitched against Sandy Koufax and suffered the toughest loss you can suffer. Gave up 1 hit and lost. And there was a story in the AJC a couple of days back. I think Mr. Hundley lives in Macon. Maybe watching the game tonight. So we salute him and Sandy Koufax. Great moment in baseball history. As that one's hit high in the air toward right center. Bourne on the run makes the catch up against the scoreboard. Pretty play.
Nice catch, Michael. He's having a good night. 2 hits. Nice running catch there. We got an extra base hit. Much to the appreciation of his pitcher.
So 2 are out. Bases are empty for Freddie Galvis.
It's 8 in a row set down by Julio.
One ball, 1 strike. Pitcher spot due next for the Phillies. Brian Bogusevic is on deck.
Oh, is that a good off-speed pitch?
Davenport wants this one in the dirt. Didn't get it there. It's hit toward the gap. Bourne and Markakis will converge. And it's a 2-out hit for Freddie Galvis, and Bogusevic will come up.
It's not a huge difference, but that is the difference between putting it where the catcher wants it, where you want it, and missing your spot and then paying for it. Straight. And you can see Julio disgusted with himself.
Bogusevic hit a home run here the other night. His first plate appearance in September 29th, 2013. He hit a pinch hit homer.
There's that slow curve again. Perfect time for it. That was something AJ talked about regarding Weber last night, that he was throwing his curveball for strikes. He said you don't have to throw it for strike every time. They just have to know that you can.
One ball, 2 strikes. Overthrew that one. 2-2. Nationals lead the Mets 2-1 in the 6th inning. Steven Strasburg is on the mound for Washington, his first start in a while.
Must be doing a pretty good job against that hot Mets team.
That's high. Full count. 1 walk Bogusevic. Cesar Hernandez is next. He's the Phillies leadoff man. We're in the fifth, 4-1 Atlanta. He's got a first inning run. Markakis scored that. Atlanta got 3 in the fourth. Runner goes, and Bogusevic pops it up. Oliveira, foul ground, lots of room. Simmons joins him, and Oliveira makes the play, and that will take care of the Phillies in their half of the fifth inning. Freeman, Swisher, and Jace Peterson are coming up. Braves lead it 4-1.
Park in the Park night. If you were with us on Braves Live, we were talking about some of the guys that have really had good numbers against the Phillies, not just this year, but throughout their career. And so far, this group is 5 for 10 with a couple of RBIs and 3 runs scored. So they were on the mark again and consistent with their damage they're doing against the Phillies.
Maybe we should add Julio Teheran's face to that list as well. Julio's 2-0 this year against the Phillies with a 1.29 ERA. He's through 5 innings, allowing only 1 run and 3 hits so far tonight. So to the 6th we go. Freddie Freeman, Nick Swisher, and Jace Peterson are coming up. Phillies go deeper into their bullpen. This is left-hander Ken Roberts.
They just brought him back up from Lehigh Valley. 9 games on the year, as you see.
He was with the Rockies organization. Was claimed off waivers after Colorado let him go August 30th. 25th round by the Colorado, 25th round pick, I should say, in June 2010 by the Rockies. Was a non-roster player. And like every pitcher will tell you, to get a second chance outside of Colorado is a very happy thing. So 2 lefties in the switch hitting Nick Swisher coming up for Atlanta. And that one's taken low. 3 balls and a strike. Nice night for Freeman. 2 hits, 2 RBIs. And that's well foul, 3-2. Crowds are small here in Philadelphia. Fans thinking ahead to college football and the Eagles season, but they ought to have bigger crowds this weekend. The Cubs are coming into town. Cubs Nation will be out in force for the next 4 nights. And Freddie takes a walk. Leadoff pass issued by Roberts. Good start to the Atlanta 6th. They've had a base runner in every inning. In fact, they've had at least 2 base runners in every inning to this point.
had their leadoff man on 5 out of 6.
Swisher turns around and hits right-handed now.
Just missing, but Roberts pitching behind in the count by just missing. Nice patience here by Freeman and Swisher to start the inning against a guy they haven't seen.
That ball's rocketed toward left, and that's going to bounce to the fence. Freddie around second, on his way to third. Bo Porter is going to stop him. Runners are at second and third with nobody out. Swisher joins the hit parade. 13 hits against the Phillies tonight.
Thought he got something upstairs. Oh, absolutely, he did. Let her high. And remember, he's had trouble with that breaking ball that they've been giving him a steady diet of. Didn't miss that fastball.
Most hits for the Braves since August 8th when they tallied 14 against Miami. Phillies infield comes in for Jace Peterson, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. And that squib toward short. Galvis will have the play at first, 1 out.
That was some serious impatience on the part of Jace Peterson. Guy's in trouble. He's had trouble getting ahead in the count. And maybe it was a pretty good pitch to hit, actually. Let her high out over the plate. And he was late on it.
Second and third, 1 out now for Andrelton Simmons. 1 ball, no strikes. In the air to center. Herrera drifts back. He'll make the catch. And it's deep enough for Freddie Freeman to come home and score. A line drive sacrifice fly for Andrelton Simmons. And he picks up RBI number 36. It's a 5-1 game. Braves cash in the leadoff walk.
Good work by Andrelton.
Nice way for the Braves to answer a 5-0 shutout last night. They've scored 5 of their own tonight. And the way Julio Teheran is pitching, feel good about your chances tonight. Comebacker, and Roberts speared that. Bethancourt had a hit taken away, but the Braves get a 5th run. A leadoff walk and a sac fly sends us to the home 6th with a 4-run lead. presented by Grady Hospital. It's the final bobblehead giveaway of the 2015 season. Get your tickets now. Visit Braves.com/tickets. A good game tomorrow night. Braves and the New York Mets. Shelby Miller and the always entertaining Bartolo Colon will be the pitching principals.
That'll be fun.
Braves will try to slow down the Mets, who lead the East by 6 games. Meanwhile, tonight, on the eve of his bobblehead night, Julio's pitching a gem. A run on 3 hits against the Phillies, and this was the place where his season really turned around, especially on the road. And that slight adjustment that Julio and Roger McDowell have made seems to have made a tremendous difference for Tehran.
Much better against the lefties as a result of moving over on the rubber. And the 1 run he's given up tonight was as a result of the 1-out triple by Sweeney that appeared to be misjudged by Nick Markakis up against the wall. Granted, it hit the wall on the fly.
To second, big hop for Peterson, and that takes care of Cesar Hernandez. The Phillies leadoff man's 0 for 3, 1 out. Since August 2nd, Julio's 3-1. And earned his 3rd road win, his 10th overall win. Looks very comfortable, looks very composed.
Good numbers against the division, 211 starts, 298 ERA. He's got 2
He's
tonight.
got 2 of them? Wow. All right. Good for him.
Looked like he was trying to give it away to one of the adults. That would be a switch.
Yeah. Ooh. Herrera might have gotten a gift. Center cut, but I guess too high. 2 balls and a strike for the Phillies center fielder. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Snapped in nicely.
Backed it up with another one. Good idea. Checking out Julio's red shoestrings. Those are nice. Looking sharp.
A little squibber into shallow center. Bourne is going to catch up to it. That ball came off the bat rather oddly. And Herrera's out number 2.
Like the Braves, the Phillies have a lot of work to do. These young players are getting golden opportunities themselves to show what they can do. To Pete McCannon, front office, Andy McPhail, as they go into the offseason and get ready for next year and try to improve on a rough season.
1 ball, no strikes. I assume that pitching has to be at the top of the list for the Phillies. They acquired a lot of young pitching from Texas. Got Matt Harrison back in that deal. He's coming back from some serious back problems.
Oh, baby. 93 fastball and a 71 hook. Love it. Beauty.
And he backed that up. 3 up, 3 down. Top 4 hitters for the Phillies are 0 for 11 tonight. That's one reason why Julio's got a big lead. As we promised you earlier tonight, we've selected our Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag South Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile.
I'll be darned, there's James May. Thanks for sending it in.
Michael Bourne starts it off. Announced crowd tonight, 15,241. Right back where it came from. Nice play at second, but Hernandez whiffed on the throw. And Michael Bourne has a 3-hit night. He had 3 hits this entire road trip coming into play tonight.
He was due to get a break or two. This one again hit off the slope of the mound and kicked it back over to Hernandez. He wasn't going to throw out Michael, but couldn't get a grip on it anyway. Good for Bourne.
First 3-hit game for Michael since mid-July. Braves will put the leadoff man on in every inning but the second. 5 runs, 14 hits. And Bourne hardly had a lead at first.
We were talking about the Phillies pitching. We saw Nola last night. He looks really good. Buchanan tonight. The next 3 nights against the Cubs, it'll be Adam Morgan, Alec Asher, and Jared Eichhoff. All guys who are getting a chance to pitch and show what they can do before next season. Asher and Eichhoff, I believe, both came from Texas as well.
That's correct. Part of the big haul that the Phillies got. Nick Williams is another player they got, as is Jake Thompson, big slider. Also up for the Phillies in their pen. And up and away, 1 ball, no strikes for Julio Teheran. And really the big piece in the trade was Jorge Alfaro. He's a catcher. And the scout said today that was one of the best throwing arms of any young catcher they've seen in a long time. So that gives the Phillies some hope for the future as Teheran lays down his 3rd sacrifice of the night. He's doing everything right here in game 3. And Bourne to second with 1 out. And Markakis coming up.
Great job. Just a great job. 13 now on the year.
That moved him off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes.
Trying to hold Michael close so that he didn't get a big jump.
And now Rupp will head to the mound and talk it over. As you look at the Phillies, they've got some nice position player pieces. I love Galvis. I think he's a terrific shortstop.
Galvis and Franco on the left side will be pretty solid.
Got to figure out what to do with Ryan Howard, whether they can keep him or move him. He's got another year on his contract. A big buyout. As Markakis, an odd swing, 1 ball, 1 strike. Herrera's done a nice job. He's hitting 300 and is learning how to play the outfield on the fly here in the major leagues. That's a nice piece. They've got their closer, Ken Giles. That's always helpful. Larry Bowa said it to me a couple of days ago. It's real simple. Got to have arms. To your point, it's like they have a keeper in Nola.
And you've got to have depth when you're pitching. All the injuries that come along.
Markakis shoots one through the right side. That's a base hit. Runner around third, Bourne. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to be late. Michael scored standing up.
Oh, Michael.
Altair came up firing, and Bourne scored on a Nick Markakis base hit to right field. 2 hits for Nick, his 49th RBI, and the Braves extend the lead.
My goodness, there was a big risk of injury there. That was a bang play. I don't know if good piece of hitting here by Nick on a pitch that was out away from him. I don't know if Oliveira was up there to help Bourne. No, he wasn't. He was a spectator over there on the side. Michael didn't know to slide or not, but when in doubt, get on the dirt. Scary.
Big night for Nick Markakis, and the Braves have banged out another hit. 6 runs on 15 safeties so far, and they're not done yet here in the top of the 7th. Bartolo Colon.
One of his greatest feats of the year, just his last start down in Miami right here. Behind the back out. I mean, what else was he supposed to do?
He's ran a long scoreless streak too. I think 22, 23 innings, something like that. And he's played a big role in this surge by the New York Mets.
13-game winner.
Javier Hinojosa is on the pitch for the Phillies. Hector Oliveira is the batter. He's 3 for 4. 5 Braves have multi-hit games so far tonight. And Hinojosa's got a good arm, and he missed with that pitch at 94 miles an hour.
Yeah, he can top out at about 96 with a hard slider and a changeup.
Fly ball foul and into the upper deck. So we've got our hands full with the Mets tomorrow night. First of 4 games. Mets are losing tonight to the Nationals 2-1 in the 7th inning. Critical game for Washington. That's if he needs a strike. It's 2-2. What a difference the Mets offense has taken with the acquisitions of Juan Uribe, Kelly Johnson, Michael Conforto from the minor leagues, came up from Double-A, and Yoenis Cespedes. They were the lowest scoring team in the league before the trade deadline. And once those guys put on a Mets uniform, look at the offensive damage they've done since late July.
Yeah, July 24th was the date they acquired Johnson and Uribe. First in homers average, 6 runs a game. That'll get it done.
And a swing and a miss. Oliveira is down on strikes, and that's out number 2. Matt Harvey did start last night, did not pitch well for New York. Don't know when or if he will start again during the regular season. I think it'll be fascinating to talk to the Mets people about Harvey, Boris, and innings gate when we see the New Yorkers tomorrow night. Two outs for Freddie Freeman. After Oliveira struck out, the first strikeout for a Braves hitter in the game tonight. That's taken low.
You mentioned that game tonight's critical for Washington, and it is. But after what happened last night, the Mets can leave town with no worse than an extra game lead than what they came in with. So whatever they feel like today, they could be very loose and get after it. Continue on the road trip to Atlanta, where the Braves have been struggling, and see if they can keep adding to their lead. Where does Washington go? Do you know? They have a day off.
That is into the shift. What a play. What a play to retire Freddie Freeman. Spectacular grab. That's Cody Ashe, I believe, who's in the shift. He made a great diving stop to rob Freddie Freeman. 6-1 Atlanta at the stretch.
Washington, where he gave up only 1 run in 6 innings. Tonight, same thing. 6 innings of 1-run ball. And the 6th inning may have been his best of all. He was using all his pitches, good slow curve. And that slider got Altair for the strikeout. 3 punch-outs tonight, no walks.
So Leo has Howard, Sweeney, and Ashe coming up. You were wondering about the national schedule, the next 9 games. 3 in Miami, 3 here in Philadelphia, and then 3 at home against the Marlins. And all of a sudden they're in a tie game. Kelly Johnson just hit a home run to tie it for the Mets.
Double nickel. Well, that's a 9-game stretch for the Nationals where they've got to make up some ground.
Line drive to right. Markakis, a tumbling catch. And Ryan Howard's miseries continue. He's 0 for his last 28. It's the longest over of his career. His last hit was August 29th.
Nice play by Nick here coming in. Not an easy play when you see that top spin and it begins to sink. Nice play.
Five more retired in a row by Julio. Here's Sweeney. Well, what a turnabout for Sandy Alderson. Remember all the abuse he was taking for sitting on his hands, not making trades, not adding offense, not willing to bring up the kid from Double-A. When the Mets were getting great pitching and no offense and just squandering opportunity after opportunity to win games, not because of anything other than one run a game from the batsman. Well, he waited and waited and waited and then pulled the trigger for Carlos Gomez. That deal then disappeared. Didn't happen. Turned out to be the best trade the Mets ever got because that allowed him to go get Cespedes.
Yeah, those trades that sometimes aren't made. And of course, Wilmer Flores was bawling his eyes out at
right.
the dugout.
He was the guy going to Milwaukee.
That inspired everybody.
As Teran missed off the plate, Sweeney walks with one out. And that's about the only blemish for Julio in the game tonight. First walk. Cody Ashe made a great play to Rob Freeman a second ago. In case you didn't hear either, there was a clause in Cespedes' contract that had the Mets not agreed to a contract extension with him within 5 days after the end of the World Series, they would have to release him. And he would then not be eligible to be re-signed by the Mets until May 15th of next year. Apparently, Cespedes, the Mets, the Major League Baseball Players Union, and the Commissioner's Office agreed to waive that clause in his contract. And there is principle, or precedent, I should say, for that happening before with other players. So once the season ends, the Mets, like the other 29 teams in Major League Baseball, if they choose, can get in the bidding for Cespedes as a free agent.
When you're playing on a team that has that kind of energy going, and you're a big part of it, success-wise, the way you're contributing like Cespedes is, you can understand why he would waive that and want to at least have the opportunity to negotiate with the Mets to get something done to stay, because I'm sure they're all having a great time.
1 ball, 1 strike for Cody Ashe. And that's off the plate. Bethancourt now out to the mound. Julio might be a little flustered after walking Sweeney here with 1 out.
Well, don't stop being aggressive. You got a 6-1 lead. A little reminder about that's okay. And don't start picking on the corners now.
Two balls and a strike for Cody Ashe. And popped out of play. One more note on Kelly Johnson's homer. It's a pinch hit homer.
He's had a great year for a guy that had a horrible start to his spring training and was in danger of not making the Braves club. He's had a tremendous season. I don't know how many homers he's hit for the Mets, but that's got to get him up somewhere in the 13-14 range for the year.
Sounds about right. 2 balls, 14. 2 strikes. 14.
That's it.
Tomahawked in the air to right center field. This one will be grabbed by Michael Bourne. And that takes care of Ashe. And 2 men are out in the 7th. Let's not forget, too, the Mets also made a trade without making a trade. They got David Wright back. That's quite a lift, too, after Wright missed a lot of time with his back problems, spinal stenosis. Due to missed oil time with a bad back, he's back and healthy again. So the Mets in great position with 3.5, 4 weeks of baseball left. And that one squibbed into right field by Cameron Rupp. And the Phillies have runners first and third with 2 outs.
It's his first hit of the series. Right off the end of the bat.
Two for two night for Freddie Galvis with his singles. And Roger McDowell is out for a visit. Has Tehran up at 95 pitches. Hopefully he can finish the inning strong. Don't give up anything else. He's got 2 on and 2 out. Shelby Miller pitches for the Braves tomorrow night at home. And we will join you at 6:30 for Braves Live from the ballpark. Braves have not announced their starter on Friday. It was going to be Manny Banuelos, but he's got discomfort in the elbow, and he's going to go back to Birmingham and see Dr. Andrews and get rechecked again. Gonzalez was talking about Manny Banuelos before the game. He doesn't think it's serious, but for Manny's peace of mind, he wants to get Dr. Andrews to look at the elbow. So Atlanta will make a decision on Friday, probably tomorrow. And there are several options. Matt Whistler's one of them.
Yeah, he's had time to be ready for that.
Two balls, no strikes.
He's lost that touch he had last inning. That release point on his fastball, well off the mark.
Ball 4 on 4 pitches, loads the bases, and Andres Blanco is going to come on and hit. Two walks in the game, both have come in this inning, and 2-out trouble for the Phillies. Freddie Gonzalez now pondering his options.
Got 2 lefties coming up after him. Blanco's a switch hitter. Got to have a lefty ready just in case if somehow Blanco reaches. Good night here last night. 2 hits, including a triple.
And he's missed with 5 in a row.
Got that same spot too. I mean, he's missing badly to that outside corner to left-handed hitters. Time to maybe think about trying to hit one other spot somewhere, or throw another pitch, throw a different pitch, throw that curveball that was so good last inning.
That's foul to the left side, even count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cued foul and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And that was a good change up. Straight change. So far, everything's been middle away for Blanco.
He came back and struck him out. If that was the last pitch of the night for Julio Teheran, it was a beauty. The Phillies load the bases and can't score, and we're off to the 8th inning. Atlanta in command 6-1. Braves fans tonight only, thanks to the Braves Steal of the Week, get a field view seat and a 1974 replica Hank Aaron jersey for only $30 when the Braves battle the Phillies September 18th, 19th, and the 20th. That's a savings of almost 50% off the regular ticket price. Go to Braves.com/steal for this great offer, but remember, you must buy today. Way to go, Julio. He's in line for win number 10 tonight. And the Mets have taken a 4-2 lead now over the Nationals. Steven Strasburg gave up a hit in the 8th inning. The embattled Drew Storen came on and gave up a home run to Yoenis Cespedes to make it a 4-2 game. Holy smoly. The Nationals bullpen has imploded.
This is Nefi Ogando, who has come in to pitch. One of a couple of pitchers like Roberts that they just activated, brought up.
Mile high pop up by Nick Swisher. And Galvis puts the squeeze on that. One man down. Ogando came over from the Red Sox for John McDonald on August 31st, 2013.
Good numbers.
6'2", 218. Beg your pardon, Joe.
That's okay. Good numbers at AAA.
So he retires Nick Swisher. Here's Jace Peterson over 3 with a walk. And that's downstairs. Got to feel bad for Drew Storen. Good kid, terrific pitcher, but has had maybe the 4 worst meltdowns in Washington Nationals pitching history. Going back to the playoffs with the Cardinals, a couple against the Giants, and then part of yesterday's just miserable 7th inning. Saw the Mets get walk after walk after walk, and then won the game 8-7.
4th hit for Jason this series. Had a couple of opportunities early in the ball game with some runners on base and couldn't get the hit he wanted, but he gets on base here and he's swinging it better.
17 hits is the Braves' season high. They've got 16 now. Simmons has one of them. That was a bunt hit. And off the plate. Braves will see the Nationals at home the final week of the season, September 29th, 30th, and October 1st. In the air to center. Herrera drifts back and makes the catch. There's out number 2. Toyota key play tonight came in the 4th inning for Atlanta. Christian Bethancourt at the plate.
He already had a base hit to his credit. And this one the other way for his 2nd home run of the year. Got the Braves back on top.
Nice work behind the plate too, and a little late for strike 1. And a shot to center. Bethancourt has a 3-hit game.
How many guys have 3 hits already? Bourne, Bethancourt, Oliveira. Fastball down the middle. Laced to center.
5th 3-hit game for Bethancourt in his career. He's got 3 of those 5 this year. He had 3 hits, Joe, since he came up from the minor leagues again. That's nice to see.
Yeah, had been 0 for 14. Good night tonight.
So a season high 17 hits for the Braves club. The last time they had 18 hits was in 2013 when Tim Hudson beat Kyle Kendrick here. It was a 13-4 game. Two balls and a strike.
This is not Ogando's major league debut. He had been up earlier this season with the Phillies, one other stint. Michael's got 3 knocks tonight. How about one that gets an RBI?
He's going to try. This ball's hit high in the air, left center field. Herrera back. It is off the fence. 2 runs are going to score. He's on his way to third base. It's going to be a stand-up triple for Michael Bourne, and the Braves score 2 more. Big night for Michael Bourne, a 4-hit game.
Almost hit this ball out of here. Fastball. These are the types of swings that Michael's had some rough luck with because they've been catching them. And when the inexperience of Herrera shows up there where he realized he wasn't going to catch it and then was just trying to defend himself, that created a break for Atlanta too.
So Todd Cunningham is going to bat for Julio Teheran, who went 7 innings of 1-run ball tonight, allowed just 4 Phillies hits. Two walks, 4 strikeouts.
Back-to-back good games.
8 runs on 18 hits. What a great offensive breakout game. And you know, Shelby Miller said, all right, let's keep it going tomorrow night. He'll be the starter against the Mets. That's out of play, foul. Todd was part of the Braves' good play earlier this year. Became first Braves hitter with 3 or more hits in his first career start since Keith Mitchell in 1991. He had back-to-back 3-hit games in his first 2 appearances. The first Brave since Ken Obergefell to do that. Down to 261 at Gwinnett.
They couldn't get him out in Miami.
Right. Channel is Matt Diaz. Down at Marlins Park. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Ogando was up with the Phillies for a couple of days at the end of August, but did not get in a game. So in essence, this is his official major league debut.
And he's allowed 2 runs on 3 hits so far, and he just struck out Cunningham. Rupp will make the peg to first in time, and that will retire the side. Top of the order in the bottom of the 8th inning. Atlanta in command. Big night for Michael Bourne. 4 hits. And Atlanta leads 8-1.
Three singles in 5 trips. And after a big night in game 1 of this series, he's beginning to get more comfortable at the plate, racking up some hits. He's had a good series.
And he is our AT&T Uverse trivia subject tonight. He had his first career homer on Monday. He was the last Braves rookie to homer here at Citizens Bank Park.
I'll stick with Freddie.
Yeah, that was the game against Roy Halladay. I think you're right. See if you are. Yeah, it was Evan Gaddis with 2 here. One of them hit a lady out by the flagpole. You remember? There's Evan Gaddis, the latest. It was 2 short years ago.
That was off Cole Hamels. Edwin Jackson has a nice lead to work with here. Those are his combined numbers between the Cubs and the Braves.
And he's pitching on his birthday today. Edwin's 32 years young. So if he can celebrate with 3 up, 3 down, 8th. Todd Cunningham stays in the game. He's in left for Nick Swisher. And Cesar Hernandez, the leadoff man for the Phillies. He's the first man up. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Top 4 hitters for the Phillies are a combined 0 for 12. Julio Teheran was brilliant tonight. 103 pitches for Julio, 7 innings, 4 hits, a run, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Cunningham in left will be tested early, and he makes the play. Line drive out, 1 down.
Telling you that, Hernandez, he barrels him up, doesn't he?
He does. Hernandez and Galvis, those guys have 44 hits against the Braves this year. Herrera's not too shabby either. He's 16 for 64 against the Braves with 3 homers. But 0 for 3 tonight. That's the difference in the game. Top 4 hitters for the Phillies are 0 for 13. Top 4 hitters for the Braves a whopping 8 for 15. Damage all up and down Freddie Gonzalez's offensive lineup tonight. 18 Atlanta hits. And ripped foul out of play. 2 balls and a strike. That's a wicked pitch. He didn't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That looked like the slider he was throwing the day that he first arrived in an Atlanta uniform. Where it really didn't look much like a slider. It was going straight down.
And ball 4. Herrera walks. And he's aboard with 1 out. Don't want that with a big lead.
No, sir.
That'll break up for an alter. He's 0 for 3. He's got a 3-game hitting streak on the line in this 8th inning at bat. Popped him up. That'll hang up long enough for Nick Markakis to run under it. And that's the 2nd out of the inning.
This outbreak of offense couldn't happen at a better time for the Braves in terms of what they're facing going home to play the Mets and that pitching staff. So long as they finish things off here in good style, they will go home with some confidence.
So Ryan Howard is up. Oliveira is going to move into the shift position.
I think he was trying to lobby to have Jace do this and not him.
Ryan Howard 0 for his last 28. Runner at first will go. They'll allow Herrera to move to second base. No steal.
And allow him to go to third too if he wants.
Simmons moves over just to make him think twice about that. Betancourt looking into the Braves dugout, getting some instruction as he talks things over with Edwin Jackson. Runner at second, maybe a new set of signs just to be sure. There are no cross-ups. And now are the Braves going to come out of the shift?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the case. Oliveira is going to move over to third base again. And now it's going to be Simmons.
Hamilton's just going to play behind him a little bit.
One ball, no strikes. And right to the first baseman, Freddie Freeman. He's got it. Can't remember the last time Ryan Howard went hitless in a series against the Braves, but that's the case. He's 0 for 12 against Atlanta, and we end the ninth.
And Zaxby's.
Beautiful night in Philadelphia. And fans who are playing fantasy baseball, MLB.TV serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players, live or on demand, on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.TV today. Young. Send a couple of those up to the booth for the trip home. Pretty snazzy. This is Adam Lowen. He's the 6th Phillies pitcher. Adam Lowen, originally a #1 pick by the Orioles in 2002. He was the 4th pick overall. And it just never really worked out for him with the Orioles. 4th pick in the draft. Lowen 8-8 with a 5.38 career ERA coming into this season.
When I heard his name announced that he was coming in the game, I thought, man, this guy's been around a long time, but I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, he's had lots of injury problems. Torn labrum in 2004.
Shoulders are awful.
Stress fracture in his left elbow. More left elbow soreness, broken foot. Really unfortunate for Adam Lowen, native of Canada, born in Vancouver, lives in Scottsdale. So a pair of Orioles squaring off, and Nick Markakis drives one toward the corner and left, and room for Sweeney to make the grab, and there's out number one. It's a final in Washington. The New York Mets have swept the Nationals. It's a 5-3 final score, and they've built a 7-game lead over Washington.
And again, came from behind to do it again tonight. They've got on some kind of miraculous run of come from behind wins too.
Well, they trailed 7-1 last night and won. They trailed tonight, came back and won, beat Steven Strasburg. And now it's really in all in the hands of the Mets. If they take care of business, they will take care of the Eastern Division. Downstairs for Hector Oliveira. Big night for the Braves third baseman. 3 singles. And he'll take a 4-game hit streak into play tomorrow night. Lowen's rushing it up there in pretty good shape.
Yes, he is. Pretty good take there on the part of Oliveira too. Top of the zone. One of the rare guys you see these days that actually has a bit of a closed stance. That's 6 walks the Braves have earned tonight, including 1 intentional.
Stats man Ed tells us that Adam Lowen got international attention in 2006. He started for Canada against the U.S. in the first round of the World Baseball Classic. 3 2/3 shutout innings. He shut down Chipper Jones, Mark Teixeira, Vernon Wells, and Derek Lee. Didn't allow any hits to those guys. And Canada won that game 8-6. First 4 major league starts in 2006. Here's who Lowen ran into: Randy Johnson, Tom Glavine, and Roy Halladay. And Halladay he had to face twice. First pitcher in big league history to face Cy Young Award winners in his first 4 starts. And then he tried to become a position player with all those injuries. His contract stipulated he had to remain with the big league club on its active roster. Since Lowen needed time to learn how to play a position and go to the minor leagues, the Orioles decided to let him out of his contract. But here he is back in the big leagues with the Phillies, and he just took care of Freddie Freeman.
I mean, I don't blame him. If he's got to stay in the big leagues and he says, well, I don't want to pitch anymore, I want to play shortstop.
I don't think shortstop was a position.
Not left-handed.
No. And Pedro Siriaco will be the final hitter of the night for Atlanta.
Again.
So Edwin Jackson, a nice inning on his birthday today.
Or with a base hit, he would not be
right.
The final hit by batter.
Eight-1 Braves in the 9th. Now it's 0-2. Pirates clinging to a 5-4 lead in Cincinnati. Reds have them loaded with 2 outs. Cardinals came back to beat the Cubs 4-3 today. Giants and Diamondbacks just starting. Colorado 2, San Diego 2 in the second out at Petco. And Siriaco is down on strikes. Lowen throwing in the low 90s. Gets a couple of strikeouts in an inning's worth of relief. Last call for the Phillies. It's 8-1 Atlanta.
And the Georgia Lottery.
8-1 Atlanta. Boy, we haven't had many games like this over the last several weeks and months. Nice to see the Braves break out with a big night. Hopefully that'll continue tomorrow against the New York Mets. First 2 games of that 4-game series are on Sports South. The first one's on Sports South, I beg your pardon. At 6:30, we join you tomorrow night. Bartolo Colon and Shelby Miller. Steven Matz will pitch for the Mets Friday. Atlanta's not announced its starter for Game 2. Williams Perez, Noah Syndergaard, Game 3 Sunday. Ryan Weber and Jonathan Neese at 1:35 Eastern Time. I think they found 12 on the PA system here.
Tell you what, the 17 people that are still here are loving it. Ryan Kelly in his 12th game. He could use a good outing. He's had some rough goes of it since he got called back up.
That might be the wildest musical segue in the history of baseball. The theme from Frozen to Gangster's Paradise as Darnell Sweeney leads off the Phillies night. Yikes. Sweeney's the only Philly to score tonight. A second inning triple. The only run allowed by Julio Teheran. He pitched a beautiful ball game and is in line for his 10th win. Popped up. There's a good start. Freddie Freeman says he's got it. And he doesn't. He's going to go to Jace Peterson and call him off.
Good deke, though.
Yep.
Let me correct myself on Ryan Kelly, too, because he's worked a total of 4 innings over 4 outings. And he's given up 4 hits and 1 run, and that 1 run was on a homer. So, and no walks. So he's done quite nicely to correct myself on Ryan Kelly since he got called back up.
Oyashi is the batter and takes a strike. Foul. If I'm reading this correctly, the last time the Braves won a series on the road was July 6th, 7th, and 8th against the Brewers. And they had the Brewers swept. Had a big lead in Game 3, but lost 6-5. Settled for 2 out of 3, then went to Colorado and got swept, and that got us to the All-Star break.
I believe that is correct, sir.
fact, that third game in Milwaukee was, at the start of that third game, was really the high water point for the Braves. They were 42-42 and only 4 games out of first place. Since then, 13-42.
Julio Teheran will go to double digits in wins. He'll go to 10-7. Last 2 years he's won 14 games each year. I think he's got about 4 starts left.
Well, wouldn't that be a great way for him to finish, considering how the season began?
Yeah.
The home road splits for Julio. That would be something very encouraging. Again, we've talked a lot. What Atlanta's hoping to see in these final weeks is progress by everybody. Julio's certainly taken a step forward. And pop fly foul out of play. It's still full for Cody Ashe. Mentioned Ryan Howard, hitless in the series. First time that's ever happened in a series of 3 games or more.
Is it really?
0 for 12. And he's currently 0 for his last 29 at the plate. Fly ball down the left field line. Cunningham gets there in foul ground, and the Braves are not away from taking the series against the Phillies. And Cameron Rupp will be Kelly's final assignment, we hope.
As big a struggle as it has been for the ball club over the last 3 weeks or so, this is a big deal for them to come here and win 2 out of 3. Great job by Teheran tonight.
The next list for the Braves snapped the 8-game home losing streak. That's next on the agenda tomorrow night. Shelby Miller or Tolo Colon at 7:10 at Turner Field. 1 ball, no strikes for Rupp.
Pretty good job tonight by Tom Woodring behind the plate. Haven't had or seen too many complaints.
Nope. Popped up. This ought to do it. Let's see who's going to catch it. It'll be Siriaco in fair ground, and the Braves have beaten the Phillies. They take 2 out of 3 in this series. Julio Teheran in double digits in victories. He was terrific. A run on 4 hits. Big night at the plate and behind the plate for Christian Bethancourt, who had 3 hits, including his 2nd home run of the season. And the Braves are heading home on a happy flight. 8-1 your final score. We'll talk about it right after this.